is the Fourth and One podcast. My name is Simeon. We're coming to you live from Lancaster, Lidditz, and Williamstown, Pennsylvania. Well, not Lidditz. I just realized that. I'm so used to saying that. He's not here. Everywhere you get your podcast, at Fourth and One Podcast, Instagram and TikTok. TikTok's different. Fourth and One Pod. Shout out to everybody there. Shout out to the new subscribers. If you haven't already, and you're new to the podcast and you're not subscribing, it'd be great if you went ahead and hit that subscribe button, commented down below what your favorite bowl game name is or sponsor specifically. That I'd be interested in. It just really helps us out, grow the pod, and show us we're moving. And obviously let us know things you did. I don't know what we did on picks last week. I'm wearing all my clothes. I don't know if Micaiah actually got that updated before he left. For those of you joining us today, Micaiah is missing, aka Captain Boring is missing. We're sitting next to, as always, though, Nazi FB3 Robert. Hello,
That's
sir.
me. Hello.
We're looking forward to a little bit more chiller of a cast today. But we'll go over what happened last week, which was we had a bunch of championship games. A lot of them went down as expected, but we saw specifically two teams try to stay alive, and in the one case of SMU's case, succeeded. They beat out Alabama to be the last seed in, or the one of like the big not non-conference, but like the big at-large bids. Took them a game-winning field goal in the last second. Dude with ice in his veins. I think true freshman, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yeah.
Kicker to win that game. I didn't watch that game, Robert, but I kept an eye on it.
I mean, it was kind of hard to watch that game because at half it was 24-7. So you were like, oh, SMU's written off. Didn't have to worry about it because you had Oregon and Penn State who were back and forth. So it was easy to miss until the end.
Oh. The man, the myth, the legend himself.
I'm surprised the internet works in the Dominican.
Figured out how to use a cell phone.
What goes on, guys?
And Micaiah Schlinger is on the podcast. Captain Boring himself. He's a little loaded. He's a little toasted. And he's in the Dominican. We were just talking about the SMU Clemson game.
The preview of the game?
Preview of the game. SMU Clemson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a little bit, aren't you? No, that's the championship game, Micaiah, that we watched, where we jumped off. SMU, in my opinion, played themselves into the college football by fighting back in that game.
Yeah, I don't think that they get into the college football playoff without fighting back. What was it, 24-7 at halftime, something like that? They were out, and then by the time with 16 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter, they made their way back in, So
and took a kick by an absolute drill dime dropper, one could say, to win
they
that
saved
game.
Robert. Like, Robert was just butthurt about Alabama getting in at halftime at the end of the third quarter about that. Right, Robert?
I was ready for them to be like, yep, Alabama's in, check the box, SMU shit the bed. And I was just like, every time we get so close to them not getting the favoritism, they get it. But luckily, SMU pulled their pants up, tightened their belt, got close. A win. I actually preferred them losing, just losing close because then Alabama wouldn't get in, but got what I needed.
What do you think of the Penn State SMU matchup, though? Like, I'm honestly wondering, because we haven't talked. I'm on vacation, obviously, with this view. What do you think of that matchup?
I don't think there's a more lopsided matchup in this one. I think Penn State is going to handle SMU pretty easily. And I know you're giving me that face, and I can't tell if it's because you're a little, or if it's just because you're just not comprehending. But I think Penn State finally found that run game against Oregon, and I think they're going to ride they're just going to ride it. They're going to beat the Ponies. It's a home game at Happy Valley.
So, Robert, let me ask you this question. If this game was flip-flopped, if this was in Dallas, would SMU have a chance? Because we're also talking about the weather, right? Up in Central County, it's supposed to be like 15 on Friday. So it's going to be cold, and we're going to have a bunch of Dallas boys coming up here to play some football.
I mean, the weather essentially isn't going to be too mad because they did play in, I think they were, in North Carolina, South Carolina, one of the Carolinas.
Yeah,
Charlotte.
I think it was, and it was cooler. It was kind of a crappy game.
Yeah, but that's like saying 55 is cold, dude.
Right, but for them,
the heaters.
For them, 55 is cold. 15, definitely, because you got to remember, Penn State, but Penn State's got to play in it too. And Penn State's,
we've never had we've never had playoff games this late into December in cold weather. So you're right, as in both teams will be experiencing this for the first time. I just think that SMU really showed some fight that I don't know. I think these two teams are evenly matched to where it won't be a handle either way. It'll more be like a 3-point ball game. Is Penn State favored by a touchdown right now?
They're favored by like 9, I think.
I think that's way too big. I think it's a 4-point game maximum there in Happy Valley.
I just think if SMU falls behind, that's going to be tough because Penn State's defense is better than Clemson's, and kind of SMU's strong suit is putting the ball in the air. Now, granted, Oregon put the ball in the air all over Penn State and made it look easy, but SMU doesn't have Tez Johnson either.
Is Oregon the best offensive team in the playoff?
They're probably the most explosive, I would say.
I'm hijacking the podcast, so I'm just asking both of you random questions at this point.
I mean, Arizona State, that offense has been clicking, running the ball, so I don't know. Don't you be looking at Carey, okay? You focus on these beautiful eyes over here, all right?
Hey, she's making it hard to focus on your beautiful eyes right now, if you know what I'm saying.
You like that?
Makai, what was your question? I'm sorry. If he even remembers.
Oregon having the best offense.
Oregon having the best
Oregon's going to be tough.
College.
Oregon's going to be a tough team to beat. And they got ahead. And they played ahead, and they stayed ahead, even though Penn State tried with everything in them. And I'll give James Franklin credit. As soon as they went down 2 scores, I'm like, the game's over. This isn't worth watching. And then Penn State kind of snuck back in there, and they went 1 score, 10 points down in halftime. And I'm like, listen, Oregon's doing whatever the F they want when they're on offense. This is a deep, but they can't stop freaking Tyler Warren, apparently, to Drew Allen, Tyler Warren. And so, okay, they need to make a defensive adjustment. And they came out and they didn't make a defensive adjustment. So I think Oregon's just that good that it's going to, if Oregon isn't in the national championship, I will be surprised. To me. That's my take of the
Oregon has the toughest road.
Simeon, would you bet Oregon to win the national championship right now? I don't know. So, they got to be the odds-on favorite, but would you bet Oregon to be in the national championship?
I'm looking at the teams that are out there, and the only one close to it, to me, is Georgia, that has a chance with the possibility of Texas coming in second.
Georgia doesn't have Carson Beck, though. Probably.
Georgia does not have Carson Beck, and that's, I mean, to be fair, their backup came in and played a great game. I'm not gonna give it, and the fact that Texas lost to backup also deducts Texas. So to me, it's like, you got Oregon against who in this? Like, who's gonna show up to wherever this game? Where's the finals? And who's gonna show up to Atlanta? That's not Georgia. And
what about
beat the Oregon team that we saw play against Penn State?
What about Texas's defense? Because their offense, Quinn Ewers, worries me. honestly, just with turnovers and the inconsistency. But Texas's defense is rock solid, and I feel gets the short end of the stick because of Quinn Ewers' inconsistency. So what do you think about Texas making it and challenging Oregon for that national champion?
Again, Texas is about the only, because to me, Texas has the only offense that can compare and challenge, with the exception of maybe Indiana goes on a hot streak somehow, some way, and shows up and plays actual Big Ten football. Like, that's a 1% chance. But, I've said stupider shit, and it's been right. So,
But
I gotta say that.
That would be a shock even to me if Kirk Cincinnati was able to get this Indiana squad to upset not only their first round matchup Notre Dame, but then their second round matchup and their third round matchup to even make the college football championship.
The Texas I saw lose 2 games to Georgia is like, you show me the Texas for the other 13 weeks that they played, and that's a totally different Texas team. That's a Texas team that can go and play against. But their defense is their only thing, with a quarterback who's started to regress at the end of the season instead of progress. So I don't know. You can't show me. Oregon's done everything that I want them to do. They played Big Ten football in a Big Ten and manhandled the conference, in my opinion. They've improved on defense. They have improved throughout the season, improved on defense. Throughout the season, improved on offense. Their quarterback has put him into is this a guy that's going to go 1 or 2 in the draft, 3 in the draft, in Dylan Gabriel's, if he decides to not transfer again?
Does they even have years left?
I don't know.
Probably.
They're making up years at this point, Micaiah. We're on years 8 and 9. We're making up stuff. So, I'm looking at this, and maybe I haven't watched enough Notre Dame, but snooze fest. If it's Oregon and Texas, it's not going to surprise me, and at that point, I'll see what I see.
Rob, who you got? We haven't talked a whole lot about this. Who you got?
So, I'm actually kind of looking at a wild card scenario where the championship game is actually going to be an SEC championship game. And I think we are going to have a Rocky Top national champion.
Oh, stop it. Come off it.
I don't hate that.
No, because
I don't hate it.
Here is my kind of rationale behind it. Okay, Ohio State's essentially in shambles. Yeah, they're playing at home.
Yeah.
But again, they're playing against an offense that's almost kind of like Oregon's. They're fast-paced, move. Ohio State does struggle against kind of offense like that. So if they get past Ohio State, perfect. Now you're moving on to Oregon. Oregon's defense showed me nothing against Penn State. Other than the fact that you can run down their throat. It doesn't matter. As long as you get stops. Penn State could have won that game.
Yeah.
They very well were in position to win that game. So they could get past Oregon. Now you have either Arizona State, who just runs the hell out of the ball. You have Clemson, who you don't know if you're going to get Clemson versus Georgia the first time, or if you're going to get Texas, who lost to Georgia both times. Either way, Tennessee could probably beat one, if not all 3 of those teams. It's just a matter of time before they meet Georgia in the national championship. Georgia played like dog water against Alabama. Tennessee put a handle on Alabama. I mean, it's not a very far-fetched thing to think, but I kind of like Tennessee. They've just been off a long time.
My only caveat to that is Carson Beck might not be playing, so it's Stockton, right, filling in as backup quarterback for Georgia. Does that give you any hesitation? I'm on the bandwagon of Tennessee, but does that give you any hesitation about Georgia?
In a way, no, because, okay, Georgia is very good at what? Stopping the run.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have to play they play the winner of Indiana or Notre Dame. Notre Dame runs the ball a lot. You stop the run game for Notre Dame's in trouble. Indiana, we don't really know how they play against big teams because they get mollywopped by Ohio State. So the reality of Notre Dame just putting a beat down Indiana fairly high. So if Georgia has to play Notre Dame, it's Notre Dame. We're going to find out how they play. If Georgia wins that one, you get Penn State, SMU, or Boise State. More than likely, you're going to get Penn State because they have the cakewalk of the century walking into the Final Four. I don't know how these seedings work the way they do, but you very well, if it's Georgia and Penn State, Georgia has a really good run defense going up against Nick Singleton and Katron out. All they got to do is stop Tyler Warren, and that Penn State offense folds. And the passing defense on that team is terrible. And Georgia, for whatever reason, somehow decided to find a run game in the last game of the season for themselves.
Trevor Etienne's trying to get himself drafted.
Yeah. I don't know. It's even without Carson Beck. I mean, if we're being honest, Carson Beck wasn't that great of a quarterback because the number of times he actually put that team in position to lose was more times than he put the position in to win.
So here's my thought process. I'm looking over the CFP right now, and I'm seeing Indiana, Notre Dame. Assuming Notre Dame wins, they hit Georgia. Okay, very possible upset there. 7 beats 2 Georgia. So to go off of your point, Robert, you're saying, okay, Georgia basically, it could be Tennessee, Georgia. To me, the northern half of the bracket is more competitive because
Correct.
For all we know, SMU's deciding they're going to put on their big boy pants. They're going to hand Penn State a pile of cash and say, we'll see you next year, maybe, if you're lucky. But we paid to be here, so we're going to win. Now it's SMU Boise State, which would be great, by the way. We don't know who's going to win that game. And then all of a sudden, Notre Dame could come out of that South bracket because they could upset Georgia. I don't know if Indiana could, but Notre Dame certainly can. And so I'm looking at the top half and going, all right, Tennessee, Oregon. All right, Tennessee, Oregon. Tennessee. Who have they played?
Who?
I agree with you. That's my point, Robert. Who have they played?
No. Who? Who are you talking about? Tennessee.
Tennessee. Who have they played? Yeah, okay. Alabama.
They've already played Georgia
and Alabama and Georgia.
That's it.
And they played at Georgia.
No.
And they got handled at Georgia
lost.
after they went up to nothing. They didn't do anything.
Correct.
Who did? So I'm looking at Tennessee, and I'm saying there's no way. We got before DJ Lagway decided to turn into DJ Lagway, win at Florida. They lost to Arkansas. Okay, weird. Beat their first 4 games of the season was Chattanooga, NC State, and Kent State and Oklahoma. Okay, you beat an Alabama team by 7. Great, congratulations in this case. And then you lose to Georgia by 14, something like that, and more than 14. And then
17.
you beat a Vandy team by 13 points. So I'm looking at their stats say, oh, they have 13.9 points against. Let's tied them for 4th. They've scored 37 points. But then I go look at their schedule and go, yeah, but when it showed up, they're about 500. When it matters, they're about 500. Because to me, they've had 4 games where it's mattered. Maybe 3 games. So they've had 3 games where it's mattered, and they've won 2 of them. So they're more than 500. I'm misproving my own point. But the point is being, a Georgia team with a backup is way more trustworthy than a Tennessee team with a quarterback with inconsistency issues, more than my insert joke here.
Haven't I said that all year? That Nico is very inconsistent, mid at best? Haven't I been saying that all year?
You have. He has a higher ceiling, I think, than you give him credit for, having seen him play.
But to this point, Nico Iamaleava has been mid at best.
And he's what? A redshirt freshman, right?
Yeah.
So you're asking a redshirt freshman to come into wait, hold on, where's this game played?
Tennessee's playing at Ohio State.
They're going to play in New Orleans. If they beat Ohio State. I'm assuming they're going to beat Ohio State at this point. I'll let Ryan Day prove me wrong, but I'm assuming they're going to win at this point. They're playing in Caesars, so you're going to have an inconsistent team go away when they're best at home, go away to a Georgia team that is heads down the most senior team, or at least culturally cohesive, less South Carolina, and you're expecting DJ to perform well under the most pressure he's ever had to perform under. Yes, I get it. He plays in England. Robert, I'm trying. I want to be on Team Tennessee here, but there's absolutely nothing that says Tennessee is a cakewalk into the final game, into the finals.
I don't think. Well, no, I didn't say Tennessee was a cakewalk in.
You said
Georgia
you said the
is
likelihood.
Oh well, yeah. So looking at Tennessee,
Was you, Mackay, who said there was a cakewalk in for Tennessee?
I think Tennessee is a cakewalk into the finals. Just giving their first round matchup, yes. I agree with that. And I got to run
go
here
to play
soon.
Oregon. They have to play Oregon, who's shown they can play SEC football.
Yeah, SEC football, I don't know. Their offense is the best of all the offenses in the playoff, but I don't know of the defenses. I mean, Penn State's offense is hit or miss at best, and they scored, 37, 38 on them on Saturday?
They're 13 points. They average 17 points, to be fair. So you're not wrong. And again, if I'm saying who have they played, the answer, no one. Like, let's look at Oregon. They obviously played Washington, Wisconsin, Maryland, Michigan. At the time ranked 20 Illinois team who they mollywopped. And they almost lost to Ohio State if it wasn't for a failed spike. So you're not wrong, Micaiah. But at the same time, I'm looking at the only undefeated team in all of college football who handled when they needed to handle the teams that they needed to handle, including, to be fair, an almost lost to Boise, almost 3-point loss to Boise. But the team we saw only score 24 points against Idaho in week 0 is not the team that we saw put up 45 against Penn State. That's my point. Tennessee, we haven't seen progress to the point where they need to. I think they'll be there next year. We're looking at a possible 2025 national championship champion in Tennessee next year. But Oregon, it's hard to compete with the people who get it done when they need to get it done. Or argue, not compete. Sorry.
I mean, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Pop-outs.
Well, no, because I mean that's the harsh reality of all this. Is all these teams, out of all of them, what? Georgia, Ohio State, and Clemson, and Texas. So, this is everyone else's first time here.
So Oregon has allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 12th in yards per game allowed. Total yards per game allowed. They allow 301 yards per game. So, to kind of go off, who's ahead of them? To kind of give Micaiah his own, he might be right about this. Ahead of them are Notre Dame, Penn State, Tennessee, Texas, Indiana, and Ohio State. So they're in the playoffs, they're one of the worst defenses, statistically.
Let me pose this question quick, because we got to run to dinner. Who is the one team that knows who they are? Right?
South Carolina.
Knows who they
Notre
are
Dame.
Offensively. Exactly. Notre Dame.
I think we're sleeping on Notre Dame.
I think everyone's sleeping on Notre Dame, and if Notre Dame was in the 14 playoff last year, right, everyone would be picking Notre Dame because Notre Dame is Michigan, right? Great defense, great run game, iffy pass game, and iffy quarterback. Notre Dame knows who they are and wants and will their opponent into playing the game that they want to play.
Which, by the way, their one loss, which good on Notre Dame for only keeping to one loss. Granted, you played a pretty soft schedule, but their one loss is 5th in statistical defense. Wait, hold on. Yep, 5th in statistical defense in all of FBS. I want to make sure I didn't count. So, shout out. That looks like a pretty good loss to me, statistically.
I just want to go and say that, Simeon, you have been shitting on Notre Dame about that loss for about 6, 7, 8, 10 weeks.
Oh no,
And now
it's a horrible loss.
Now you're gonna sit here and go, "Yeah, it looks like it was actually a pretty good loss."
I mean, when you look at it statistically, it's a pretty
Can't do
good loss.
anything.
You're good.
What
Okay,
did
just real
Carrie
quick.
go last? Do you know what Carrie went last week?
Carrie, I don't know. She went above 500 last week.
She did not pick Ohio. So shout out Timothée Chalamet, who did pick Ohio and was very right.
Got out. However,
Yeah.
we're going to run after this. However, she thinks, and we want to get your opinion on it here, put this in your ear. She thinks, and her opinion of Kirby Smart's haircut is that he gets it cut at Walmart.
All right, what's wrong with that? I get my hair cut at Walmart.
Oh no, you don't.
Yeah, I do, brother.
Explains a lot.
Heck yeah, bud. Cost me like $12.
There's Carrie. You know,
What?
you were right about a lot. Also, Robert, just shave your head at this point.
Hey, that's what I do when I go there. I'm just like, hey, do it.
Well, that makes sense why you get it at Robert at Walmart. Carrie, you were right about a lot of things with your picks this year, and I will say without a question of a doubt that you are 100% correct. He definitely gets a cut at Walmart for sure.
Or like his wife cuts it or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does it with a bowl himself. You know? Yeah.
That man does
straight
not
up.
pay money for that haircut.
Nah. He doesn't have time. He's coaching one of the best teams in
Sure.
football.
He hands
Yes.
a different player and sweet a pair of scissors and says, "Go."
Dude, if you told me it was the kid in the locker room who likes to cut hair the most as the side, like if it was the backup to the backup punter, would be like, yeah, of course it is.
The water boy.
The kid with the
Carson.
little tism, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Carson
Ooh.
Beck with a.
I'm
Hey, we're having
in the
fun.
Dominican
Go,
Republic, so it doesn't matter.
go eat food. Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't drink
Bye,
water.
everybody. Thanks, bye.
What's
Thanks,
next?
guys.
Okay, I did absolutely crap on Notre Dame for that loss, and
every week since, and then I think it was
I mean-
was it after the Navy game? We're like, hey, Notre Dame's kind of starting to get their wheels turning, finding out,
Yeah.
and then it's like, yeah, but they lost to Northern Illinois. Like that, what? Terrible loss.
I mean, in
Which,
theory,
yes, it is.
still is. Yeah, no.
because you
But
because
if
you don't
you
lose
look-
to a MAC school and be number like 5, 6, or 7.
I'm impressed that they did, and I'm trying to look at where the Huskies. And at that point, I'm like, oh, Huskies winning the MAC all the way, and then
No,
the Huskies literally lost the next two. One against Massachusetts, one against Bowling Green, lost the next two, one against Western Michigan, one against Akron, lost to Miami of Ohio, one against Central Michigan, which put them in
It's like the middle of the pack.
of the
Yeah.
MAC. Yeah. Shout out to the Ohio Bobcats, by the way, for winning the MAC. I think I was the only one who picked them, and Timothée Chalamet, or you picked
Probably.
them. One of us, only one of us picked them. Really just absolutely manhandled them. I'm trying to remember what the other games that happened last week.
The Western Kentucky one, I know I was wrong on that one.
Oh, they just kind of spanked. Who did they play?
No,
You,
Western Kentucky got
spanked.
yeah. Jacksonville State, yeah, they put 52-12 was the final of that, and I was like, oh, Western Kentucky, give me the Hilltoppers. Nope, just kidding.
They do have some of the coolest uniforms in the.
Yeah.
That's Rich Rodriguez trying to get another job. As they're opening up, Scott Frost going back to UCF. You think that's actually going to work out?
I mean, I don't see how it wouldn't work out. I mean, he just has to. It'll be. I think it'll be a better. They'll probably be better than what they were when he was at there the first time. Just because now he can actually be competitive recruiting wise in a bigger conference.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to look here real quick as you're messing with your thing. Undisputed 2017 national not undisputed, disputed 2017 national champions. Down there in Orlando,
Orlando,
Florida. shout out. Oh, he was with the Rams this year. I didn't know that. Also, just there's a YouTube video on the amount of one-score games. Like, if he won all of the one-score games that he was in,
Oh, dude, at Nebraska?
we would be like, dude, this guy's the next Bill Belichick. Like, yeah, who knows?
Well, and that was the funny thing this year was it was the same scenario
Same
with Nebraska. It's a one-loss party or a one-score party.
It's kind of like how the Jets are gonna Jets, right?
Yeah.
Like I think the Nebraska corn suckers.
Yeah, one of those guys.
Huskers are going to turn into that team. Like, for real, they're going to turn into that team. I don't know. It's crazy. Boise State obviously beat UNLV only by 2 touchdowns. UNLV's coach is going to Purdue. He got hired there.
I think so, yeah.
Shout out to me for remembering that off the top of my head. Makai said, thanks for letting him hijack the podcast. You're not welcome. I hope you get double teamed again. Army beat Tulane. I'm leaving that without any context. Army beat Tulane, kind of manhandled them, so that should be a very, very fun. As the only college football that is on, besides the one bowl game that I'm not going to count, the only real college football that is on this weekend. Is that a game for sure is going to be on? Is the Army-Navy game?
Yeah, where
house?
would it be on?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you have something planned. It's a
No
Saturday.
way, dude. Yeah, but it's Army-Navy. It's
Okay.
a big game. It's America's game.
Obviously, Georgia beat Texas. That game needed to go to overtime. It was probably the most thrilling besides the Clemson SMU game. Clemson gets in. Arizona State handles Iowa State in the Big 12 championship. Cam Scatabo, whoever.
That guy's just... He made Iowa State's defense look like children.
He has such a weird build too. I think they were calling him like blockhead or whatever on the.
He's kind of built like a linebacker, but dude, I mean, straight downhill runner, sheds tackles and does not give an F about anybody.
I'm interested to see what he does in the NFL because it's kind of Taysom Hill-esque. Like, I feel like he could totally line up at linebacker and then all of a sudden be throwing a reverse play 40 yards down the field, sort of situation. Shout out Donovan Edwards. Marshall beat, that's who it was. Marshall beat Louisiana. In the Fun Belt Conference. Obviously, Ohio beat Miami. That covers everything. We kind of previewed a little bit. I'm just having fun here. I'm not overly producing this. Trying to go to that college football bowl games. That's the one I'm looking for. It's the time of the year where it's bowl games, and we're going to talk about transfer windows, some big transfer news happening. Basically, for those of you who aren't going to keep up, we'll give it to you kind of after everything happens, probably in the postseason of realignment, plus all the coaches of players, plus all the coaches. Some big names have entered the portal already. Robert, help me out here. I think it's
where do we start? He's in. Connor Wegmans in Nebraska has 2 big wide receivers that are in. Bama has a couple guys in that a couple 4-star guys. No one, Tyler Morris from Michigan, but no one big from Michigan has gone in.
Backup O-line guys from Michigan.
Yeah. Gentry started.
Gentry?
Yeah, Gentry.
He's in the. Isn't he going into the
portal?
He's not. He can't graduate.
No, I think he's only a junior or sophomore.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Oh, he's 21. Yeah. Junior.
What
true
junior? Murphy's going in.
That's interesting. Wait, he's a junior. He could technically enter the. As a true junior, he could technically enter the draft, couldn't he?
I think so. Yeah. But probably isn't the year to go in if you're coming from Michigan. The offensive line wasn't.
No.
Who are we
I'm
talking about? Who are we talking about?
Ashton Jeanty is in the portal.
No. From Michigan,
Oh,
the lineman, because we were talking the lineman. No, Genty's going to the NFL.
I was going to
His
say
draft
he's
stock
a
is
true
super
junior.
high right now.
I was going to say,
no,
why
no.
would you? He's going to be the first running back taken. He's top 10 pick, sort of situation.
Yeah.
Possible Heisman winner, first quarterback in a while for the Heisman winner. Because are you pretty sure they gave an award to Travis Hunter? To me, it's kind of hard. Like if they were in the playoffs still, Travis Hunter would have an argument to be made, and he's a great two-way player. I'm not going to hate on Travis Hunter, even though I really want to. But are you literally chatting? We're in a podcast, and you're putting news in the dynasty.
Oh yeah, listen. Cat,
No,
he put me in charge. Okay, I'm laying down the law. Okay,
you can't wait another 30 minutes to send that text message. I'm also one of the guys who still has to play his game.
I know. I just had to let you know, and now you're going to be the last guy because Texas is playing his game now. Yeah, but it's so hard with Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
because you want to give him all the credit in the world because he is playing both ways.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it and it's like, I mean, the Heisman hype behind him is just like through the roof. And then you kind of sit there and you're like, well, I mean, he's not the best receiver. Okay. Well, then he must be the best corner. And it's like, well, actually, no. And that's actually something that we've talked about before was he needed to choose one and be good at one. And we said probably the one that was going to be best at was wide receiver. And like he won the what was that word that I sent you?
Oh, I don't.
Because it wasn't the Jim Thorpe, because the Jim Thorpe is the best defensive back that he's not even a finalist for, which he should be a finalist.
The
Ronnie Lott, yeah. He should be in the conversation for being like one of the best corners in college football, but he's not like the best. It depends on like kind of like what stat you're going to look at.
He's the stereotypical jack of all trades, master of none sort of situation.
He's the Swiss Army knife essentially, and
which means you're a freak athlete,
right? Yeah, no one's saying that he's not this like incredible athlete,
right?
But then you look at Jeanty and you're like, okay, this guy literally is he could have broken Barry Sanders' record.
Yeah.
And you're like, sit on that for a hot second. Barry Sanders' record.
Yeah. Best running back in college football history.
Right. And it's like only every so many years do you get a running back that's just doing what he's doing. I mean, that dude was just he's an insane running back. Looks like Michael Myers standing in the backfield. But I always look at it as if you took Travis Hunter off of Colorado, are they in the position they're in?
I don't know.
And it's kind of hard to say because if we're being honest, the player from Colorado that probably should be in the Heisman race who isn't is Shedeur.
Yeah,
because Shedeur
doesn't play corner.
Well, yeah, and Travis Hunter doesn't get remotely anywhere close to being a Heisman finalist without Shedeur. And then, what is Boise State without Jeanty? Boise State's probably not even ranked 3.
Yeah, he is that their team. Offense.
So to me, looking at that, it's like this guy is the best guy.
Yeah,
because if you putting Travis Hunter on Boise State isn't the same, but putting Jeanty on Colorado.
That changes
you got yourself a run
season.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they might be in the playoff.
I'm really interested. I really hope Travis Hunter, he's obviously probably going to go to...
I hope he goes to an NFL team that is just not terrible.
I do too. And I hope it's one of those situations of like, I love football so much, I want to play every snap that I can, which I think is basically what he's been putting out, right? He's not like, I'm the best, therefore I play both ways. I think it's, I can do both, and why wouldn't I? It's football. Like, I agree with that. Like, if I'm playing a sport, I want to play the sport. So, I'm 100% on board. But I hope he goes, but now I get it, this is a next level stuff. I need to pick one and stay with it, and I pick X, Y, and Z, or maybe he goes in the corner like what is his coach's name? Like Dion has said, and they have a package for him at wideout. Or he goes and they have a package for him at safety or linebacker or wherever he ends up playing, right? He comes in at nickel every now and again, whatever the case may be. He's a freak athlete, but he would be so much better if he were to pick one. He would be one of the best lockdown corners or be a top wide receiver.
And you also kind of run into the same issue of anytime you have a player in the NFL who is very good at two positions, after the first couple of years of them doing like being like Le'Veon Bell was like a great receiving wide receiver or running back and a great running back.
Yeah.
And he wanted more money because he was, I'm like the like a wide receiver 2 and a running back 1. I want that kind of money. And it's like, so if you're looking at Travis and it's like, you're going to say, I'm a wide receiver 1 and a corner 2. I want X amount of money. And it's like, a lot of teams we know for sure are not going to want to pay more than what they are. And he's just, if he goes to one position, I think his life in the NFL will be longer.
Yeah. That's the big thing because of the whole steroids and the recovery aspect that the NFL is behind on. All sports are behind on the whole new recovery thing. The recovery wave, I guess is what I should say, the new recovery wave. Like, you're looking at a guy who can't play 10 years in the NFL. At most skill positions, you're lucky if you get to 29 and you haven't torn an ACL. So he's in the prime of his career right now from a recovery perspective. He can play 100 snaps a game and not have an issue. But at 26, he's going to be, yes, that much better, but also he's not going to be recovering the same.
Yeah, if he's playing both ways, that's going to eat at him. He might be able to do it for his first 2-3 years, and it's not bad an eye. It's going to, but I mean, once you start getting, I mean, you know how it is. You get up in the morning, back's hurting, knees aching.
Yeah.
Most of the people that listen to this podcast, same scenarios, and you're gonna have a young kid out there trying to do both.
Different when you're 2% body fat, freaking Travis Hunter. With washboard abs, it's recovery is different for a guy like him, but you're still gonna eventually. Tom Brady wasn't going to be able to throw the football, right? It caught up with CMC. He was one of the healthiest backs, and then all of a sudden, he's out, and now he's going to be marked as a injury-prone back.
I mean, that dude's been injury-prone for like the past 3 or 4 years.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it.
It's been a kill. Like,
who am I thinking of? Is it Saquon? There's been a guy who's like, how have you not injured yourself yet?
Well, Saquon was that way because he had monster quads, but tendons and ligaments don't grow. Your muscle do.
You can't build resilience in tendons and ligaments. Unfortunately, I mean you can, but you can't. All right, let's go over to the bowl games. We like to have fun. We'll probably keep it short here. We got another week. Makai's going to want to come back to preview the games, and we've kind of already previewed the big stuff. So we got another week before that. So Saturday, technically this Saturday, Jackson State and South Carolina play in the Cricket Celebration Bowl in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So I'll give you the names of the fun ones that I think are fun, and you rate them on whatever scale you want to rate them. This is the part of the podcast where Makai's not here, so he can't tell us what to do.
We're going to go with the hot or not scale.
Oh, I love that. All right. The IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl.
You know what? We're going to say that's a pretty hot name. You know what? Because that's for the veterans. Thank you for your service.
Sir, thank you. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
I'm going to say that not. I just like just call it the Frisco Bowl. I get why.
It's in Frisco, Texas. That's why.
I know. I get why, but I just call it Frisco Bowl.
Okay. Kind of like the Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah, that's perfect. Short, sweet, to the point, hot.
Well, you know who that's brought to you by?
That one is brought to you by what's his nuts?
No, that's FIU Stadium. I like what you're thinking there. No, Boca Raton puts it on. It's sponsored by the
Oh,
Borough
yeah.
or
I
City of
thought
Boca
we were
Raton.
talking. Okay, yeah, you're good.
The Art of Sport LA Bowl.
No,
That used to be
Art
the
of
Jimmy
Sport.
Kimmel
No.
Live Bowl. I'm pretty
that was
sure.
an even worse name.
The RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. That's a constant name. Some of these are new, some of them aren't.
I'm gonna say no. Just keep
Yeah.
it New Orleans Bowl.
That's the right. Here's going to be a good one in Camping World Stadium, Orlando. The Staff DNA Cure Bowl.
This just sounds like a
It
terrible.
sounds like you're going to get a staph infection, is what it sounds like.
It
It's in
kinda
Orlando.
does.
It's called the Staff DNA. It's called the Cure Bowl. Like, for sure, you're going to get a staph infection
Yeah,
in
I don't like
Camping
it.
World Stadium. Another Florida Bowl, the Union Home Mortgage. It's not Gasparilla. But no, it is the Gasparilla. It's the flower. I'm thinking of sarsaparilla.
I was gonna say. I
Gasparilla
was
Bowl.
like, how else are you gonna say that? I don't like my mortgage. I don't think anyone likes their mortgage.
Shut up,
so
mister. I
we're ju-
spend $2 on my mortgage a month.
We're just gonna go with the Gasparilla Bowl.
I'm
It'll be
not
way
going to
better.
put you on roast because I'm the dude buying a house right now, and you could spend 3 of your mortgages on my mortgage. So shut the F up and go back and enjoy your town in the middle of nowhere, okay?
Hey, we'll do, bud. We'll do.
Shout out.
The
The
next
Myrtle-
next two bowls, perfect names for both of them.
The famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Banger of a name.
That, to be fair, that's in Boise. That's on the blue field. Northern Illinois and Fresno State.
Yep.
Coastal Carolina UTSA are going at it in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, which is a home game for Coastal Carolina.
Yep. You know why? Because it's in Myrtle Beach.
Again,
Yeah.
I like the
Perfect.
cities who don't take the sponsorships, right?
Yes.
Like the whole point of the bowl games was like the Rose Bowl was put on by like the Tournament of the Roses. That's
Right.
who was put on ball, and so they
Yes.
called it the Rose Bowl. So like when Myrtle Beach brings people in, they're just like, no, this is like probably sponsored by the Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce or something like that. Who pays for this? So shout out the Hawaii Bowl.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. It's in Hawaii. You know,
Christmas Eve,
great.
San Jose
Christmas
State.
Eve in Hawaii.
Spartans
Can't go
versus
wrong.
the Bulls. Give me the Spartans on that. That's a long flight for the Bulls. But then again, it's going to be anyway. Who knows? All right, we got Christmas.
Nope.
Not Christmas. Day after Christmas.
I'll already tell you. First one, no.
The Game Above Sports Bowl.
Game above sports. There is no game above sports, baby.
I don't even know what Game Above Sports is. We're gonna take a stop.
I want to feel like it's probably a charitable kind of thing.
No, it is not. It's a postseason certified that
Mortgage?
begins. Game Above Sports. Hold on, I'm looking at it.
IT.
It was previously. This used to be the Quick Lanes Bowl.
Yeah, great name.
Who is game? We're ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna have to hold up or use the Detroit Bowl as a working title. Strategic investment company Game Above through its Game Above Sports brand. So it's a strategic investment company. Business development firm dedicated to transforming the sports industry through strategic investment, athletic endorsement. It's an NIL deal, basically.
Nope.
That's how I'm reading that.
Nope.
The Rate Bowl. I would assume this used to be the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Is it supposed to be the Guaranteed Rate Bowl? It's Rutgers and Kansas State, Chase Field and Phoenix, baby.
I mean, the bad part, like this, if you don't know its rate, like this could be misinterpreted, and it's not like a good interpretation.
Yes, it used to be Guaranteed Rate, but they changed their name to Rate. This also used to be the Kellogg's Cheez-It Bowl.
Why would you walk away? The Cheez-It Bowl, that is a good one. Why would you walk...
there was 2 Cheez-It Bowls for a while.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The 68 Ventures Bowl.
That didn't used to always be that, wasn't it? Like something else Ventures, or was it just Ventures?
You're actually gonna make, shout out Wikipedia.
Oh, I'm gonna make you do your work, dog.
Hey, listen, it's what I get paid the big bucks for. This is Arkansas State. No, it used to be the Lending Tree Bowl before it was 68 Ventures.
All
Before
right.
that, it was
We'll
the
stick
Dollar
with-
General Bowl.
Yeah, we're definitely going to stick with Vic 68 Ventures Bowl.
For sure. The DirecTV Holiday Bowl.
Nope, should have just been the Holiday Bowl.
No question. Where's the most holiday place you can think of? Off the
The
top of your
most
head?
holiday place would have to. Where's I would have to go with Indiana, Pennsylvania. You want to know why?
Why?
Pretty sure that's the Christmas tree capital of the world.
Let's go. I'm
I
going to
feel like
Google that.
They put that on their sign driving into Indiana. I'm pretty sure.
Capital of the world. Okay. Indiana County in southwest PA is known as the Christmas tree capital of the world.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the Carnegie Museum of Natural History says that.
Yes.
According to Indiana County Christmas tree growers, in 1956, an estimated 700,000 trees were cut that year.
Yep. The Holiday Bowl needs to be
Okay.
played at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
IUP, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's in San Diego.
Yeah. Probably
The
the most un-holiday place ever.
No, I don't mean to be. No, I mean to be rude to Southern California, dude. You guys don't got it. It's like celebrating holidays and Christmas. It's very. I remember the first job out of high school that I worked was IT adjacent, and I supported people in Australia. And I'm like, hey, it's summer over there. So what is your branding like? Like, what is Christmas like? And they're like, just like it is for you, but that's kind of ridiculous now that I think about it. Like, they don't think about it. In Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere, it's summer during Christmas.
All the time.
100% of the time, all the time, it is summer and Christmas. And, like, I hope it snows every year for Christmas, and I wish that, Australia could get it sometimes, but alas, no, they can't. The Birmingham Bowl, Georgia Tech Vanderbilt. Fun game.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out, because these are the two teams who upset the most people to me. Like that Georgia game was basically an upset.
Yep.
The Florida State, they started off strong with a loss, and they did not recover. So yeah, we'll give it to this. This is a great branding name. It's in Fort Worth, Texas, so it's not
The
perfect.
most American bowl game we got.
The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. This is a hot bowl to me.
Yep.
Now, it's also in Dallas, Texas. Of course, I wish it wasn't at TCU, but the Cotton Bowl's taken, so there's not much else we can do. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
I would have just liked Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, and not in Philadelphia, Memphis, because it's at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl.
Too long. Give me the Las Vegas Bowl. That's what
Texas
it should be.
A&M USC. Is that a rematch? Isn't that a rematch?
Was that week? No, that was USC,
LSU, Texas
LSU.
A&M. LSU and
Yeah,
LSU,
yeah, LSU, Texas A&M, yeah.
and LSU USC.
One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those were I'm thinking of LSU.
Okay.
What was your question?
I was just saying it should be the Vegas Bowl.
Yeah, but also, isn't it the most Vegas thing to have something branded, so it's like kind of spot on?
Yeah, but why wouldn't you have it as the Caesars Las Vegas Bowl or
that's
like something in Vegas? I mean, SRX might be,
yeah.
but like a brand that's there.
I agree with you. It's a missed opportunity for one of the hotel brands that are there, or like Gordon Ramsay's Las Vegas Bowl, sort of
Hell's
situation.
Kitchen Las Vegas Bowl, or if that's in New
But it's
York
also
or
like one
something.
of the most things where like there's a Flavor Town in Las Vegas, so like of
Right.
course SRS should be. So to me, it's a hot name. I'm going to disagree with you there because it's very
Okay.
Vegas to have this branded.
All right.
Maybe that's just me. All right, we're getting into a little bit bigger. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
I mean, there's when I think of wasabi, I think of Chinese food, and when I think of Chinese food, I do not think of Connecticut or North Carolina.
I'm trying to think where Freddie Kitchens is going to head coach that. I kid you not. It's the who is Wasabi?
I was
Wasabi
just
technology.
thinking wasabi as
Okay.
like wasabi, like the actual.
No, It's Wasabi Technology. They're an object storage service provider in Boston. So,
all right, they're from Boston, Fenway. All right,
it's still a bad name. I'm not gonna lie
it
to
is.
you.
Great name for the next one.
Great. Sorry, I was looking at Freddie Kitch, the interim head coach there. The Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl.
Let's go. Such a good name for such a terrible bowl game, and like the Pinstripe Bowl is a terrible bowl.
Because the stadium sucks for football.
Yes.
Like, and to be fair, Fenway Park isn't, but at least it's classic, right?
Right.
Like, it's a classic stadium, so it's unique. And not that Yankee Stadium isn't unique, but there's a reason that New York FC moved out. And maybe that's where the Pinstripe Bowl is going to move to in the future, is where New York FC is going to move their new
maybe
thing to. But Bad Boy Mowers is a great name for a mower company.
Heck yeah.
What would be like the Frank Sinatra Pinstripe Bowl, or like the George Steinbrenner Pinstripe Bowl, 9/11 Memorial Pinstripe Bowl? What would be the most New York option we have here? The Al Qaeda.
Okay, that was that. See, there was a fine line, and you were like,
jumped right over it.
You didn't dip a toe over. You went the whole way.
Pinstripe Boy Brawl, brought to you by ISIS. The Bin Laden.
These are the moments I need Micaiah to reel you back in.
He ain't here. What is the? We're just gonna move on. What is the is Lita?
It's probably Ileta.
Ileta, yeah, and in Albuquerque.
I mean, I would rather just been the New Mexico Bowl,
which it basically is. It's literally the New Mexico, but the Ileta. So who is? You have to give me a second. Oh, it's a casino. Probably owned by, my guess is, an Indian reservation. Up. Yep, it's a Native American. Yeah, okay. So take back America one bowl game at a time, baby. The Pop-Tarts Bowl. That's always an A+. That's always an A+ to me.
That's a great one.
Also, Miami, Iowa State. First, Cam Rising probably not going to play, is my guess.
Cam Rising definitely wouldn't, because he plays for Utah.
Well, the Pop-Tarts Bowl is the U versus Iowa State.
Right. Which would be Cam Ward.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry, Robert. Listen.
He probably won't play.
I just make way out there jokes. That's what I bring to the pod.
Yeah. Hey, I
don't bring smarts, except I do talk a lot sometimes. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl.
I think this is the second year for it, right?
We're going to go find out. Miami of Ohio, Colorado State. Shout out to Jim Norvell. No relation to Mike Norvell. Much better Norvell. It's the Arizona Bowl. And
this used to be the Barstool Sports one, I think.
It was the Barstool Sports. This is the first year for it. But technically the sponsor, 2024, it's 2024. So this would be their first year. So it was the Barstool Sports, probably book. The sponsor, officially, according to Wikipedia, is the Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop Bowl. So Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop. That is the bowl game. The Go Bowling Military Bowl.
That's a good one. I like that.
You like that one?
Yeah.
East Carolina, NC State. The Valero Alamo Bowl. That's a classic sponsorship there.
Yep.
In Varelo. I can't spell. The Radiance Technology Independence Bowl.
It's too long.
That's not Independence because 4th of July. That's because it's an Indian Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana. Marshall Army. Army gets the short end of the stick there. Colorado BYU, by the way, it's in the Alamo Dome there at the Alamo Bowl. Monday the 30th, which is always kind of like you almost made it. It's kind of like the middle finger bowl game.
Yeah.
The Trans Perfect Music City Bowl, I will withhold my jokes.
Yeah, because I remember last year we were like trying to figure out what Trans Perfect was, but it's one of those. It's another bowl game that the Music City Bowl has always been like an older game.
Yeah.
So it's like I just have more appreciation for the Music City Bowl without sponsorship.
TransPerfect is a New York City-based translation and language service company. So they do translations software. So it is what it is. All right, so we're on the New Year's Eve 6 bowl games is what they call, even though there's only 4 of them, because they stole some for the college football playoff. Alabama, Michigan, the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa, Florida.
It's a good name. I just hate the matchup.
Okay, talk to me, Goose.
It doesn't make sense. You're going to have a 7-5 Michigan and a 9-3, 10-3, whatever they are, 9-3, whatever. Number 11 Alabama. These are the matchups where I never make sense. This to me would have been a better matchup for Michigan, Florida. Like I just feel like it would have made more sense because the teams are more evenly matched. But that's not how the whole bowl game goes. It's all about who's going to bring in the most views, who's going to bring in the most money for the sponsorships and the bowl game and all in the city. It's just one of those. I just don't like it. Also, because now we literally have to, because the entire day of and day before and it's just going to be pictures and videos of Michigan, Alabama in the Rose Bowl. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah,
the big rematch and it's like, yeah.
And it's not going to be. And I realize New Year's 6 bowls is actually for New Year's Day, not New Year's Eve, but here we are. I was wrong.
We don't have any games on. Oh,
we
never
do.
mind.
They're college football, and there still aren't
the
6 of
playoff
them.
Ones. Yeah.
There was only 3 of them. It's the Rose Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Great games, great names.
Yeah, I mean, they're the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I like that one.
Yeah. That's one that's done the test of time.
And here, this is the issue because it's in another game in Camping World Stadium, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. And I get they're both. When you think citrus, you kind of think orange or lemon, and so oranges and Cheez-Its are the same color. But
the Citrus Bowl should just be the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, or like I don't know.
And the Cheez-It Bowl should be its own thing. It should you should have the Cheez-It Bowl and the Citrus Bowl.
And the Cheez-It Bowl should definitely be in like Ohio or Indiana, somewhere in the Midwest.
The Cheez-It Bowl should be in Wisconsin.
Yeah, 100%. It should be in Green Bay.
Yes, whether it's Green Bay or you're playing at
Camp Randall.
Yeah, perfect.
Those are your only 2 options.
Yes.
If you're gonna have a bowl game, those are your only.
Sorry, but that's what you get. You're outside.
Yeah,
and it's cold.
You're gonna be outside into North. I mean, to be fair, it's in Illinois, South Carolina. The Kinder's, as in Kinder's eggs, Texas Bowl.
Is it that or is it the barbecue sauce company?
Oh, okay, because that changes everything. Kinder's Texas Bowl. I'm trying to find the Wikipedia page. We're holding. Searching is hard sometimes. 2024 Texas Bowl. 18th Texas Bowl. Why can't you tell me what your... Wow, this Wikipedia page sucks, guys. Come on, Texas Bowl. Oh, it does not say. Okay. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go digging. Who is Kinzer's and name the sponsor of this? I've announced Kinzer's, a leading provider in premium quality sauces and seasonings, the new title sponsor. It is now the perfect name for the bowl game.
Heck yeah. Yeah, also, I like it.
You're such a fatty. I went straight to chocolate, and you're like, no, dog. It's the sauces.
I got a whole bunch of it in my fridge, my man. I got a whole bunch of seasonings down there.
Lick those lips and lick those fingers. That's some barbecue, baby.
Give me that blood pressure medication.
Let's go. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Yeah. You probably could have got away with just the Gator Bowl, but I mean, Tax Slayer's, it's fine.
I mean, Slayer is just a cool name, so that's fair. The Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. Serve Pro is I think a first responders brand.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean it works.
Gerald J. Ford Stadium, Dallas. Shout out the Duke's Mayo Bowl. At this point, that's a
Yeah.
classic, right?
Yep.
The Bahamas Bowl.
Let's talk. Like, why is the Bahamas Bowl like the January 4th? Why isn't that like one of the first bowls? I thought that was always one of the first ones.
It normally is one of the first bowls. It's one of the last. Maybe because of the college football playoff and how things are structured. Because the college football playoff starts on the 20th, and normally it would be like on that, and so they don't want to get
Maybe.
overshadowed. Or maybe the Bahamas just needed some help,
Could be.
Could be. Who knows? Not me. I'm trying to find my music. Where did my music go? Right here. Guys, it's been a fun podcast, and we just had fun. And Robert's going to yell at me some more on Facebook Messenger. But we'll see you next week, where we'll probably talk some more college football. That's a pretty safe bet at this point. Bye, guys.
Watch the answer, folks, in your animals.
Kyle, I'm so much better than you.